What's up, Dolphins fans? Thank you for tuning in to another Tua Tuesday episode. I don't even know how many we've done, but we've done them for over a year. I noticed there were a couple imposters showing up here and there. I noticed that a couple people are trying to infringe upon the name Tua Tuesday. I copyrighted it. I'm not looking to sue anybody, but I did notice them. I noticed a couple of them were popping up and using the name Tua Tuesday. Come on, guys. The original Tua Tuesday is right here, way back from last year. Copyrighted, own it. But I'm not looking to cause any problems. Too many of them don't like me anyways. But in any event, welcome tonight. And as always on a Tuesday, Tua Tuesday, want to start things off with the same thing we start off every single Tua Tuesday because it's not going away. It's still out there. The news just doesn't talk about it. The media doesn't want to know anything about it. They just want you to forget it happened. But as we know, those Maui wildfires, as suspicious as they may be, there are way too many people affected. And as of today, our government has given people $700 to make good. That's it. That's all we got for you here. $700. Good luck. Yeah, and that's just not enough to sustain people. That's not enough to sustain the people in Hawaii, in Lahaina, who have been afflicted. So, as always, let me just put this up. This is the page that Tua put together. It's the Tua Foundation raising money for the Hawaii wildfire victims. It's kind of slowed down. Actually, it slowed down quite a bit. But it looks like somebody gave about an hour ago. Somebody down there gave about $10 about an hour ago. So it's up to 109,000, almost 110,000. So what I want you guys to do, as I say every Tuesday, if you can give. If you cannot give, please share the link. Just let everybody know. Here's a zoomed in. Let me get this here. Cut to it. There we go. So if you guys can just share that link with people, if you want to give, fantastic. If you can afford to help people out, go ahead and go to justgiving.com/page/Tua for Hawaii. And if you can't afford to give, at minimum, just go ahead and share that link wherever you are on social media. These people need your help. Just put yourself in their place. That's all I'm going to say. Just imagine you not having anything. No household possessions, no pets, no food, no shelter, nothing. And having to start over from scratch and understanding that our government is only giving you $700. What would you do? You would need help. So enough with that. So the Dolphins pulled out a really weird win against the Patriots. And I had tweeted something, got a lot of people pissed off, as usual. And I was like, do you realize at this point that the Miami Dolphins have basically, the two games they've played and the game they're about to play, the teams that they've faced are a collective 0-6. 0-6. What does that mean? I don't know. And that's what I tried to let people know. I was like, I don't know. We don't know what it means. We there's no way at this point to gauge where this team is in terms of its prowess in its quest for a championship or conference championship. We don't know because obviously the teams that we're playing, they're just not that good. If you're playing people who are 0 for 2, and Sunday another 0 for 2 shows up. 0 for 6 is the opponent's prowess that we played. That's the strength of schedule. And so when I tweeted that, a bunch of people, hordes of them got pissed off. What are you trying to infer? I'm like, I'm not inferring anything. I'm making a statement. We've played 3 teams. We're about to play a 3rd team. None of them have won a game. None of them. What does that mean? What does that mean to you that the teams that we've played have not won a game? And I heard from people, hey, you play the schedule that's given to you. I'm like, you're missing my point. My point is, if I want to be the best, I have to beat the best. Simple phrase, simple thing from my days in sports is I want to face the best because iron sharpens iron. I need to know that I'm getting better. How do I know how good I am if my other opponents are winless, completely winless? How do I know the quality of the win? How do I know the quality of the Los Angeles win? How do I know the quality of the Patriots win? I don't. They haven't won anything, so I can't tell whether or not I beat a good team or did I beat a lame team. The Chargers are falling apart. Brandon Staley was getting raked over the coals today. I don't know how much longer he's going to be at the helm there. They're talking about replacing him already in the second week of the season. Finally, after everything I had said about the teams thus far and the preseason strength of schedule and how it means nothing now, today the media finally started talking about it. I was asked in my tweet, Barry, if this is true, which I'm like, what do you mean if? There's no doubt that these teams are 0-6. Well, but the guy said, if this is true, why is no other media talking about it? I'm like, they probably haven't looked. They probably haven't dug in. And sure enough, today, people said that the Miami Dolphins' strength of schedule has dropped to number 14, where it was one of the toughest schedules in the league preseason, has now dropped down to, basically second, third of the league in terms of competence and strength of schedule. What does strength of schedule mean? It means absolutely nothing until you play the game. Until you play the game, you don't know. So anyway, that was one thing. So how does that lead into what Tua has done? Well, Tua obviously just absolutely dissected the Los Angeles Chargers, 466 yards, and then Bill Belichick did something different, and the numbers weren't as good. But to me, they were. And I've told you guys many times, I don't give a shit about stats. I care about one stat, and that's a W. They won both games. To me, that is most important. Don't pay attention to stats because I'd rather see the stats that were compiled during the Patriots game than with the Chargers game. You had to run the ball. Raheem Mostert made everybody forget about Dalvin Cook, hopefully. Made everybody forget about Jonathan Taylor, hopefully, and showed that he could ball. 121 yards, 6.7 yards per carry. He carried the offense. Tua just had to hand the ball off and make some timely passes and some really accurate shots at the right time. And that's what I like to see. I like to not have to rely on Tua throwing, as I've said here many times, I don't want to see him throwing 40 and 50 passes. Don't want to. If that's what's happening, then that means the run game isn't working, or it hasn't been committed to. So where do we see with Tua right now? I think maybe you guys can understand this. I don't think the jiu-jitsu shit means anything. Here's why. Here's the one thing that I think Mike McDaniel has been absolutely genius with. I don't know if you guys have been following this. I'm going to show you. Absolutely genius with. I have never, ever seen this before. But one of the things that you guys all obviously must know, it's completely obvious, you can't get hit if they can't get to you. Just keep sticking that in your mind. I don't need jiu-jitsu. I just need to know plays that are going to be called so that the guys can't get to me with this offensive line. As I've said before, just hold up people for a little bit and Tua will get rid of the ball. Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Matthew Judon, all these guys thus far have taken shots at Tua and one sack. 75 pass attempts. 75 pass attempts in 2 games, 1 sack. 1 sack. That is incredible. And the offensive line, I mean, we all have to give them a big heads up and salute because of what they're doing. But what they're doing, and, I don't want to tick anybody off here. I want you guys to think about this. Mike McDaniel, obviously, doesn't believe in the jiu-jitsu. He said it in interviews. Oh, it's working. I'm showing the other quarterbacks how to do it, and it's really helping things out. BS. You wouldn't be doing what you're doing right now if you believed in the jiu-jitsu. Now, I know people are like, Barry, what are you saying? I'm going to show you some proof why I know he doesn't believe in the jiu-jitsu. Both games thus far, even though they were drastically different, the pass plays were very similar in terms of what he did with Tua. Check out this stat here. So let me see if I can pull it up. Boom. Look at this. Tua Tagovailoa averaged 1.98 seconds on his time to throw during the Patriots game, the lowest for any game in his career. The offensive line has been solid, not spectacular, but it's clear that there's been an urgency to get rid of the ball faster while Armstead is out of the lineup. Look at that number again, 1.98 seconds. There's an urgency to get rid of the ball faster. I don't think it's just because Tehran's not there. I think you're going to see that continue. 1.98 seconds. So let me just tell you this. 1.98 seconds. We know Tyreek runs a 4.2. We know Jalen Waddle is somewhere in 4.3. Unless those two guys are blitzing and coming after Tua and they're running 4.2s, ain't nobody going to get there if you're releasing the ball in 1.98 seconds. Mike McDaniel is absolutely genius for devising a scheme that is working, wherein Tua gets rid of the ball in 1.98 seconds. I mean, just imagine that to yourself. That's one Mississippi, and before you can say Mississippi again, you got one Mississippi, two, and you're not going to be able to say two Mississippi. It's already gone. That's it, gone. One Mississippi, two, gone, done. Ball's gone. I can't hit to it because I can't get to him. I'm not worried about jiu-jitsu. I've got Mick Juice-jitsu. I got Mike McDaniel calling plays. I got Tyreek doing jet motion. I got all these guys moving around, and I'm telling Tua, you need to get rid of the ball. I can't imagine what practice is like. I don't know if he sits there with a stopwatch or what, but he must have a whistle or something. Nope, that went too long. You got to get rid of it, Tua. You got to get rid of it. And I don't mean get rid of it and be afraid. Get rid of it, zip it, get it where it needs to get to, anticipate where the guys are going to be, and throw the damn ball. Get rid of it. You can't get hit if you don't have the ball. That's the most simple thing any offensive coordinator, head coach can do to basically save and keep your quarterback safe. That and run the ball, of course. So I'm not sure if you guys knew that the ball was getting out in 1.98 seconds. Do you understand how fast a blitz, how fast a defensive end would have to be? Remember, Tua is already in the shotgun. Then he's taking a 2 or 3 step drop at most. So he's probably 6 yards, 7 yards from the line of scrimmage. And you're expecting a defensive lineman to go through a tackle or guard and still get to Tua in under 2 seconds. Ain't ever gonna happen. I mean, when he did get sacked, that might have been a breakdown, but this is going to keep Tua healthy. And I don't think it was just because Teron Armstead was out. I think they see, number one, if I keep Tua in this 1.98 realm, he builds a rhythm, keeps the rhythm. We're doing this with no huddle. Remember, a lot of the time, they were just going up to the line, had to play, already barked out or whatever, got it into his helmet, and then boom, 1.98 seconds. 1.98 seconds. I don't know if you guys even saw that when you watched this last game with the Patriots. The problem wasn't the offense again. It's the defense. The defense is having issues. But if you watch this thing that Tua was doing, and I watch it again from a lineman's perspective, All I got to do is put my body in front of you. I don't really even have to win the block. It's going to take you more than 2 seconds to either go around me or through me. I'm just an impediment. I'm a speed bump if I'm an offensive lineman in this scheme here. On the pass, anyway. On the run, I obviously have to block. But on a pass, I'm a speed bump. I don't think you can get through me or around me quick enough to get to Tua. So, with that, I'd love to know what you guys think. Mike Jeff says, let me see, make sure my comments thing is working. Yeah, okay. So the Broncos, they're not going to blitz. They're going to look for interceptions and playing coverages. I don't know what you do. Again, I mean, this is a conundrum that, Bill Belichick had a little bit of success, but it's quite the conundrum because until somebody figures it out, they're going to have to test different things. And while they're testing different things, Mike McDaniel's testing different things, but the thing he's kept consistent in these first two games, the thing he has kept consistent is Tua gets rid of the ball. Got rid of it against the Chargers, got rid of it against the Patriots. You will see that Sunday as well. You will see it against the Broncos. He's going to get rid of the ball. What kind of motion they're running, what kind of wheel routes, all the different jet motions, all that stuff, just Mike's going to figure that out. But I guarantee you he's going to continue having to get rid of the ball. They haven't come near him. I mean, the guy's thrown 75 passes and has had 1 sack. That's it. Yeah, Viper, you're absolutely right. We haven't even opened up the entire playbook going into week 3. Who knows what kind of magician stuff he's going to pull out there? But the one consistent or the one constant that I'm going to see, I believe that he's going to keep Tua throwing that ball quickly. Do you think this was the plan all along? Okay. Do you think this was the plan all along? That's why they weren't worried? Then if that was the plan, then Chris Greer duped us all. Actually, he didn't dupe us. He didn't dupe us all. We all felt, including me, that the offensive line was insufficient. He laughed. I think I even have the video here. He laughed at us. He laughed at us all and said, you guys are worried about it. Let me see if I can play this because he didn't. Stop. Rewind. And you guys can hear him say it.
I think you guys are probably more worried than we are.
You guys are worried more than we. And we thought he was being, dude, what do you mean? Maybe he knew. He didn't dupe us. He said it. And maybe this was, Joe, maybe this indeed was the plan all along. Just have Tua get rid of the ball quickly. That's very, very possible. Very possible. Tom, yeah, Austin, they all have played well. I mean, is there anyone who hasn't played well? And then when you're looking at the game film, as I said, it's hard not to play well. My assignment is you. My assignment is this guy in front of me. I know that Tua is going to get rid of the ball in 2 seconds, 2.2 max. So the ball gets snapped. All I've got to do is make sure that you don't get past me in under 2.5 seconds. I'm 6'5". I don't know what Austin Jackson is. 6'5", 350 pounds. My girth, my body alone is going to stop you from getting to him in 2.5 seconds. How good do you have to be? I mean, you're in the NFL, so you've got a certain level of acuity. You've got a certain level of ability to block. And now I'm just like, okay, boom, 1,000, 2,000, you're done, dude. That's it. I've got that clock in my head. Snap, 1,000, 2,000. Think about how fast that is. Do it with your kid. Hey, listen, what I want you to do is see if you can run around me in less than 2 seconds. What do I have to do? Just extend my arms and get you off, keep you out. Anybody could block that, and I pretty much mean anybody. And it's crazy. Sam says, get A-Chain more involved. Yeah, he must not have been. The thing is, if Mostert was running the way he did, then I think they just said just keep feeding him. Just put A-Chain in when he's needs a breather. It's too early to dismantle 0-win teams. Both wins were against decent teams. I like you, but you're being negative on some things. However, I agree with you a lot. Okay, what am I being negative on? How do you know that either of the two teams, and this is what I've asked people, how do you know that either of the two teams that we've played thus far are decent? Your words. Both wins were against decent teams. Talk to me about where they are right now. Not where you think they were last year, not where you thought they were to be projected. Tell me where those teams are today. Leave blinders on. Well, Justin Herbert, Bill Bell. No. How are those teams today? Just tell me that. They're both 0-2. How do you know they're decent? What are you saying in your mind that says an 0-2 team is decent? How are you saying the Broncos are decent? They're 0-2. Show me, educate me, and tell me, based upon what you said right there, since I'm being negative, tell me how you know both those teams are decent. I'll wait. Let's see here. Did that come through? A 7-point win against a 1-point spread is great. We could have had more, but those 2 kicks should have been. So you're saying that gambling odds are determining what a team's competency is. So it doesn't matter the players on the field. If Las Vegas sets it that you're a 1-point spread, but you score 7, then you've obviously covered the spread or beat the spread, and that says how your competency is. I'm just going to point that out for you. Jermaine, I heard this a lot. I would ask people this over and over. Both teams are over 0-2 because we beat them. What does that mean? What exactly does that mean? So you're saying that if you took those two losses, they're 0-4 collectively. Still got 2 losses to the Denver Broncos, and that would mean the Chargers are 0-1 and the Patriots are 0-1, so they're still 0-4. And then you're saying that they're only 0-6 because we beat them, and that means what exactly? If I got into a ring with you and I started fighting with you and you didn't know how to box and I beat the hell out of you, does that mean I'm a great boxer? That's all I'm saying. I'm saying that none of us knows definitively yet where things are. I've always said that the first 3 weeks of a new season, based upon how the NFL does preseason, that this is essentially preseason because everybody has to play. Whereas preseason, some people play, playing rookies, looking at guys who are trying to make the team. But these first 3 weeks, you got to get your legs under you, see where you are. Could the Chargers be a good team moving forward? Absolutely. Could the Patriots be a good team moving forward? Absolutely. I'm talking about today. How do you measure what Tua has done in the first game, what he did in the second game, and against who he did it against if they haven't won anything? I watch film, I can see what the teams are doing, but in any event, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just putting a point out there that a lot of fans don't look at the same way. Okay, here's a great indication for you. A lot of you guys joined me for the Colorado Buffaloes game, and we were up until 3 o'clock in the morning watching that game. Colorado Buffaloes are 3-0. Are they 3-0 because they beat a good TCU team, a good Nebraska team, and a decent CSU team? Or are they going to get their ass waxed when they play USC and Oregon? People are now looking and go, hey, the teams you played early, they kind of stink. And so USC and Oregon are going to wipe the floor with you. How do you know? Yeah, you're 3-0 going into this next game. You're 3-0 going into Oregon. Do you have a chance against Oregon? Did the teams you beat? I think the term that's used is quality wins. Are they quality wins, or do we not know yet? That's all I'm saying. Jewel says the center has to shift to left or right a lot. That's causing the fumbles. His Connor trying to get there. All right. So you're moved into the next segment of where I'm going tonight. So was that the next segment? Yeah, quick release. The bad snaps. Let's talk about the bad snaps, and I want to say something to you. Last week I was again accused of being negative. I'm a center, so I know this completely 100%. I don't have any doubt, any equivocation. I can tell you this without any doubt. The high snaps are 100% Connor Williams' fault. 100%, no doubt. The fumbled snaps under his butt, that's on Tua. And I said that during the broadcast, and people were screaming at me, oh my God, that's Connor Williams. He's not snapping the ball correctly. No, not at all. The bad snaps when Tua is under center, when he's got his hands up under his butt. And this is exactly how your hands look when you've got your hands up under the center's butt. You got palm to palm, and you've got your left hand up there under the guy's you-know-what, and your right hand's here. And he's going to snap that ball into your hand, and you've got to snap it out. I can't wait for you to grab it. I'm snapping that ball as fast and hard as I can, and you better be ready for it. Tua is left-handed, so he may do it this way. But in any event, I'm snapping that ball to you as fast and hard as I can because I got to fire out. I got to do something. I got a job to do, Tua. Get the ball and get out. And so people were like, no, that's Connor's fault. No, it's not Connor's fault. High snaps, Connor's fault. Snaps under center, that's Tua's fault. People disagreed with me. I'm like, dude, I was a center. I know specifically whose fault it is. He's either pulling out too quickly, maybe his wrist hurt and we didn't know, but there was something that's causing him to have 4 fumbles in 2 weeks, which we know can't continue. That's unsustainable. So they got to get that fixed. So, without further ado, let me go ahead and show you guys something. I guess you guys, some of you who don't think that's true, don't realize that in the press conference, he was asked about the bad snaps. Listen to what he says right here.
Yeah, that's totally my fault. There's things that I was changing up in which I shouldn't, and I got to get that fixed with Connor.
I changed up something. He changed up something. Don't know what the hell he changed up. Maybe his hand placement, maybe he went more to the side, but totally my fault. The captain of the team just told you what happened. Hey, I messed up. I tried something different. I got to get that fixed with Connor. My fault. Your quarterback just told you. All the equivocation that you may have had, if you didn't believe me, he just told you. No doubt, it's not Connor's fault. So I've never seen this many problems, four fumbles in 2 games with the under center snap. There's something that's not working right there. They're not going to tell you if to his hand. No one's going to tell you what the problem is. Hey, listen, guys, I messed up. I got some things I got to do. I got to fix it. I tried some things different. And reporters are sitting there. What would have been your next question if you were in that press conference? Hey, Tua, what did you try different? And it just blows my mind sometimes when I watch press conferences and somebody says something like that. Yeah, it's my fault totally. I tried something different, but I'll get that worked out with Connor. Next question? Well, yeah, what the hell did you try different? Nobody even asked. I don't know how you leave that. I remember the Seinfeld reference, that matzo ball. How do you leave that matzo ball sitting out there? That's a huge question. Hey, Tua, what have you been trying different that hasn't been working? You've got 4 fumbles in these last 2 games. What is it that you're trying that you got to get fixed? Nobody even asked the question. That was just basically a 15-second clip. And they have these press conferences, and I watch them all, and some of them are just boring and boring and boring. And then every once in a while, you'll catch a nugget like that, and you're like, dude, he just gave you something. He just gave you something to talk about. Didn't see anybody tweet about it. Didn't see anybody do an article. Didn't see a follow-up question. Your quarterback has 4 fumbles in his first 2 games, and he just said, I tried to do something different, and nobody asked a question. So, this week, we're going to have to see what is it that he's trying to do different. If I had to guess, and this is complete guess, I have no idea, no one's told me, I think at the same time as Mike McDaniel has told him, you got to get the ball out in under 2.2 seconds, Tua's hand placement is probably different. Because usually what a quarterback will do, they'll come back with the ball. And if they come back with the ball, they'll move it around in their hands and get it to where they like it. You can't do that. He probably has to get it right where he needs it. Get it right where he needs it so he's ready to go as soon as, the play starts. Whether it's get it into the running back, whatever it is. If in his mind he's like, I got 2 damn seconds. I got 2 seconds. I got to get this ball up. I'm not going to have time to finesse it. I got to be ready to go. So that's what my guess would be. What do you guys think it is? Mr. Baldylocks, hey, what's going on, brother? I'm trying to get to your thing. So somebody must have said that he had. Where's my mouse? Somebody must have commented and said that his small hands. Well, he's had small hands, if he's got small hands, I don't know, I'm not going to talk about a man's appendages, but if he's got small hands, he's had those small hands for years. Why all of a sudden would it be a problem? I think Ballylocks is right. It's timing and direction. He has to, timing. Everything with Mike McDaniel's offense now is timing. So if you got to get the ball out, if you know in your mind, okay, I got 2 seconds. He wants me to step back here. He wants me to boom, 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 get rid of the ball. That's got to be going through his mind. And understand, I got 2 seconds. Tyreek's in jet motion. I got to find Jalen. Who's my release valve? Is it Alex? Is it Durham Smythe? And I got to process all that information in 2 seconds. That's it. Just try and just watch the video of the game and understand he's getting the snap, he's taken 2 or 3 steps, and that ball is gone within 2 seconds. In the last game it was 1.98. And so you're processing all that information in under 2 seconds. I can't even tie my shoes in 2 seconds. I'm making breakfast and I'm trying to do the toast and at the same time have the butter warmed up, and you got 2 seconds. So I agree, Baldylocks. There's something with the timing for sure. Film room in practice would help, but it doesn't. Practice. They've been practicing. They've been practicing since April in OTAs and everything else. So they've been trying. They've been having snapping problems, and I think we all missed it watching preseason. I think we missed it watching OTAs. Is that maybe Mike McDaniel has been getting to this 2.5 second release, and it's just been something completely different. I've never seen a quarterback perform that fast. We all knew that Dan Marino had a quick release, but he wasn't releasing it in 2 seconds. Dan Marino would come back and he'd drop back. He could find someone, and when he found someone, the ball was gone. But I've never seen a quarterback throughout 2 entire games. I'm not talking about 1 or 2 plays. I'm talking about the entire game. Get the ball out in under 2 seconds. I don't even know how to grasp that. That an entire game, as we saw in that tweet, 1.98 seconds. Do you have any idea how fast that is? Grab your phone, put it on stopwatch, and just see how fast 1.98 seconds is. And I commend, as much time as I've been critical of Tua, I'm like, holy shit. You're telling me you got to take the snap, check out the jet motion, find out who your relief valve is, make sure you got the time, and throw it. The amount of time it took me just to say that is longer than he's executing. Just think about that. I just said, hey, okay, I'm getting the snap. I'm looking to see. That's already 2 seconds. That's how fantastic Tua is executing in this Mike McDaniel scheme. I can't even talk it through as fast as he's getting rid of the ball. Try it yourself. Try it yourself. Have your wife, spouse, or kid and say, you got 2 seconds to do this, and put a Nerf ball in front of you and say, okay, go. And you're boom, boom, 2 seconds, ball's gone. Gone. And so when people are saying he's throwing to a spot, this year he may be throwing to a spot because you can't wait. What was really cool was that touchdown that Tyreek scored when, I don't know if you saw the video, he said he heard the defense calling what they were going to do. And basically Tyreek knew he was going to fire off, fake left, take an outbreak on his route. When he went forward and he faked left, that ball was already gone. Tua had to know he was going to break out. So boom, fake, and the ball's already there. That's throwing to a spot, but that's predetermined. He didn't know what, he saw the tight end move and shift and the safety go with him, but that's timing, guys. That's extremely timing. Mike says, feel free to talk amongst yourself because I can't get every comment. It's crazy, but he's been sacked once. He needs to get it right. He takes more than 2 seconds to say the play. There's no other quarterback capable. They could do it, but with those throws, come on. Nope, he's getting it out, man. You're right. It takes him longer. He gets the play in from Mike in the helmet. He calls it out to the guys, and as he's calling it, it's taking longer for him to call it than it takes for the execution. That's otherworldly as far as I'm concerned. I've never seen it done before. I'm harping on it, and I'm talking about the 2 second thing because I don't know how he's doing it. To be honest with you, I'm kind of dumbfounded myself. I watched the games with you guys on Sunday, and I just watched this thing unfold, and I'm like, how do you stop that? I mean, literally, if I'm a defensive coordinator, I'm scratching my head and go, this guy is throwing the ball in 2 seconds. I'm not going to be able to get to him to hurry him. What do I do with these guys that are running around? Don't know. Well, Chubb's brother, no, it's the game. Well, Chubb's brother's injury, I don't think he's his brother. I think he's his cousin. You're talking about Nick Chubb's horrible knee injury. I think that's Bradley Chubb's cousin, not his brother. I could be wrong. But no, these guys are professionals. I mean, it bothers you. You feel bad for them, but you have a job as well. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. I think Chubb has to worry about doing his job at this point. It's okay to be wrong. Yeah, it's okay to be wrong. Hey, George, how's it doing, man? Those kids do deserve to enjoy themselves for their 3 wins. Absolutely. You're talking about Colorado. Absolutely. Nobody expected them to do anywhere near where they are. CCR. This guy always trolls. He says here, Tua gets the ball out lightning quick. Also, Tua is reading defenses and going through progression. So which is it? Hard to get through reads when it's thrown in under 2 seconds. I'm just going to say yes. I'm just going to say yes to that. And I think some of the people who say he's going through progressions aren't really watching the game. If you're releasing a ball in 1.98 seconds, you got maybe 2 quick looks, boom, boom, and then you got to get rid of it. So you might be correct. Have I ever heard of a quarterback going through progression? Sure, absolutely. Show me him doing it in 2 seconds. Instead of a progression, he may be taking a look at his primary. If the primary is not there, he's quickly going someplace else. That was happening. I don't think that was so much of a progression as this is my target, and I know I've got Alec Ingold, Durham Smythe, XYZ person over here. I already know they're there. The play design is, hey, listen, we're going to go for this shot. If that shot's not there, you already know Alec Ingold or Durham Smythe or whoever is over here. You don't have to go through the progression. Mike McDaniel has built it in. It's there. It's like, boom, not there, throw it. Still 2 seconds, but I already know that guy is there. I already know Alec Ingle or Raheem or whoever, they're out there. The 1.9 seconds is an average, I believe. That's 1.9 second average. That's why I've been saying 2.2, 2.5, because with averages, as you know, math, some are higher, some are lower. God, if some are lower, I don't even know how he's doing it that fast. But either way, an average of 1.98, push it up to 2.5. That's still extremely fast. California said, wait a minute. Thanks, brother. Thank you very much. And hey, guys, while you're here, go ahead and
show some love and click that like button.
Where was I just saw something? He's not reading shit. It's all premeditated. I mean, you guys can watch the game. Just watch the game and watch his head. I mean, is it premeditated? I don't know if it's, quote, premeditated or it's scripted. Your read here is we're going to try. I mean, that touchdown, the touchdown that Tyreek scored, he didn't look at anybody else. There was nobody else he was focusing on. He was throwing that ball to Tyreek, and he was waiting for Tyreek to make the break. And if he didn't do that, then he would either throw the ball away or look for another receiver. Let's see. Some ribeyes on the grill. Thank you. As soon as they figure out how... Okay, so as soon as they figure out to mess up his timing, it'll be last December all over again. Not if he's getting rid of the ball, he can't hit him. See, last December, he was running out of the pocket and he was doing crazy stuff. And I'm pretty sure what we've seen already in 2 games, and I saw it specifically in the Chargers game, the play wasn't there. His dump off wasn't there. And what did he do? Like one of the first series of the game. Boom, just threw it in the dirt. I was like, whoop, that's it. It's different. You got to watch all the plays. He's not running around doing this trying to find somebody. He actually tossed that ball in the dirt right away. Let's see. You can only play. Oh, God, I heard this refrain over and over. You can only play your schedule is what it means. Oh, boy, that's such... Come on, try not to be a fanboy. Try to understand what it means to someone with football knowledge, to other coaches, how you plan out your system and your scheme. Trust me, there's not a single coach out there and goes, hey, we're just going to play this schedule as it is and not worry. I guarantee you Mike McDaniel's not sitting there going, hey, we're going to play the next week and, we're just going to see what happens. It's the schedule that we've been given. No, you're going to game plan against your opponent accordingly. Then you're going to find out how well they're playing. Man. Hey, Pablo. Pablo says, I believe Tua is zone throwing. It's up to the receiver to be there. The more they work on that, the better and faster it'll be. It could be. It's very quick. Very quick. Platinum Products says, fully expected BB to take Bill Belichick to take away the high-power offensive Tyreek. McDaniel adjusted as he will all season with another year under his belt. It's almost like you guys are cueing me to move to the next thing. So you're exactly right. So what happened different in this game, and what did Tua do that was different than the Chargers game? Well, Belichick said, you're not going to beat me with these long-ass passes to Tyreek. It ain't going to happen. So they basically forced the Dolphins to run. They said, you're going to have to beat us in the run. We are not going to let Tyreek get 200 yards. We are not going to let Tua throw for 466 yards. Ain't going to happen. You're going to have to beat us on the run. You're going to have to prove to us that you can beat us on the run. Think I'm lying? Oh, guess what? We got a video for that. So, again, in that same press conference, this was Tua.
With, those guys basically telling us, hey, if you're going to beat us, you're going to have to run the ball by putting an umbrella over our guys. And so I would think Raheem would say the same, but, it's well-deserved in every aspect of the run game.
So he was talking about the offensive line in the question, and he just answered everybody's wonderment. They put an umbrella, high safeties, whatever you want to call it, and they said, we dare you to beat us on the run. We're not We're taking this part of your game, Mike McDaniel. We're taking it away. Not going to happen. You're going to have to prove to us that you can beat us on the run. Okay, Raheem, saddle up. Get ready. And 121 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 6.7 yards per carry later. Yeah, they proved they could run on you. In fact, the offensive line, in my estimation, has looked best when they're pushing guys out the way and making holes for the running game. Take what the defense is giving you. There's no, like again, I said, if you watch these press conferences and just listen for the answer, you don't give a shit about the question too much, especially Tua. Sometimes I think Tua gives more information than Mike McDaniel wants him to give, because Mike McDaniel is a consummate juggler. He can turn you around and not tell you anything in 25 minutes. Tua just comes out and says, yeah, you took away the pass, you dared us to run. The guys up front push things around, and Raheem ate all afternoon. Yeah, evening rather. There it is. So all you have to do is listen to. And again, I have to give Tua applause for that, because he understood, take what the defense is giving you. I'm not going to throw for 466 yards tonight. They're not going to let me. So we're going to have to beat you with the run. And the offensive line responded. That's the difference in this game. All the other stuff, the fumble, the interception, everything else was aside to what the real meal was. The real meal was, we got to eat. And we got to eat, and we got to run the ball, and that's what Raheem Mostert did. And Tua just acknowledged to you that they took away, they put an umbrella, as he said, over the deep stuff, and it just wasn't there. Kudos again to Mike McDaniel, who said, okay, we get it. This is how you want us to play. Stop us. And the big guys up front just didn't care. It says, Tua just said the obvious, I don't need to be a coach to gather what I saw on Sunday night. No, maybe you don't, but there are so many people who didn't understand what he did. You're obviously very astute. You know what's going on. But people were like, what happened? How did they stop us? The Miami offense, just maybe break it to some people who don't realize it, is not hard to stop. If you don't want Tua throwing for 400 plus yards, it's not hard to stop, but you're giving up something else. And so Bill Belichick said, I'm not going to let you have this stuff back here. And where it would have really been weird is if they couldn't run, but obviously they could. So that's where that is. Let me take a few comments. I'm not sure why people get angry. Larry says, that's what they don't want, is our run game to be open for business. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's why I said in the first game, we were here on Tua Tuesday, and I said, listen, what I'm looking for this Sunday is I'm looking for Tua not to have to throw over 25 or 30 passes. I actually said those words. He ended up throwing for 45 passes for 466 yards, and people are like, yeah, look at that, man. He threw for almost 500. You were wrong. And I'm like, oh, God, you guys don't get it, do you? You don't get it. This is the type of game I want to see all season. Quick passes, find the open guy, and run the damn ball. Do you realize how hard they'll be to stop if people have to come up and fight the run? Bill Belichick was playing off and hoping these guys could contain, and then his defensive line could control our offensive line, and it didn't work. Raheem Mostert just went through it, but every single game there's gonna be a little bit of a chess match until McDaniel feels what can work. At this point, I think the trade for another running back should be old news. We are blessed to have this lineup. Yeah, and A-Chain hasn't even gotten going yet. And the other guy, you may be forgetting, Jeff Wilson, comes back in 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks, you're going to have Mostert, Wilson, Ahmed, A-Chain. What do you think is going to happen when the full complement of running backs is back in the room, and he's got all four guys all four burners that he can utilize in the running game? It's going to be terrifying. It's going to be absolutely terrifying. Absolutely. Supreme Court ruling. George, that's 5 in a row. They've been looking for revenge. Who's that? Yeah, go ahead.
Come on, show some love and click that like button.
USA, what are we doing? The full Monty. Yeah, the all 22 should be out right now. If you're one who looks at that, yeah, you can go ahead and pull it and see for sure. Then come on back. Now I had something I may have forgotten to put it up. Let me just go ahead and grab this. I wanted to show this to you guys before we get too far. What do I do with this image here? I thought I had this image. Where the heck is it? There was an image today that I thought I pulled. Maybe I didn't pull it. That Tua is now leading the rankings for MVP. Where did that go? Oh, here we go. Okay, hold on. I don't know if you guys have seen this yet. So I can pull it up for you and let you guys get a thought on this. All right, so this came out today, and it shows the MVP odds as they sit right now, based on even going with Tua's not so hot game against the Patriots. You got Tua at plus 500, ahead of Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen third, Jalen Hurts fourth, Trevor Lawrence fifth, Joe Burrow is, I guess, tied for fifth, and then Lamar Jackson. The only thing I could think happening here is that this is going to continue if they continue playing. That's an obvious one. Lamar Jackson, I think, could be definitely part of that conversation. That the Ravens are looking really good. So take a look at that. Tua is number one right now for NFL MVP odds after the first 2 weeks. That's huge, because that means even with the game he just played, whoever's doing this stuff in Vegas is saying, Tua, with the schedule they have and what this offense is doing, could be an MVP, which to me is also scary, because this is where we were last year. We're going into the week, I think in next week, is when the Cincinnati game, after he had a couple great games and was listed as an MVP hopeful. I hate to have that be an omen. I saw that today and I went, God, I just didn't want to see that. I didn't want to see him leading MVP and put that up there yet, because of, don't give the kid any more pressure. Let him play. Let him play. Let him win. Let him have some fun. And not keep with this MVP talk over and over and over. It's just too much. I think too, let's see, George, I'm going to have to buy a new mouse. Do you think Belichick will be tired of our butt cuttings and be looking to upset us? Belichick's got a good mind, so who knows what happens the next time he faces, but there's a long time in between, I think, doesn't he? I hope so. I hope you're completely right, that he doesn't pay much attention to the MVP talk. But how can you not? I mean, he's a guy. He watches TV. They say he stays off of social media, but we've also seen that's not exactly true. You know, his wife says some things to him, but it's got to be exciting at the same time. Yeah, I don't think he really cares as well. It's just something for fans to talk about at this point. Patriots game. See, this is the problem with fans. Patriots game was boring. Rather see a gunslinger shootout, but Fins for the win. So you want to see a 45-43 game. Yeah, they're great to watch. They're love seeing those games as well myself. But being an offensive lineman, I really loved watching the Patriots game. There's nothing I like better than watching guys just manhandle guys up front. It's fun. I understand as a fan that looks. Jeffrey says, how bad are we going to beat the Broncos? I don't ever do predictions, but at home, first game at home of the season, playing against an 0-2 team that's pretty much looked like crap lately. And I'm sure Mike McDaniel and people were talking, I don't know if you guys remember this. Sean Payton is the new coach for the Broncos. Sean Payton was involved in that whole thing with the Brady coming down here to South Florida, and he talked a lot of shit about Tua. He said Tua ain't going to make it, and Tua, would be replaced by Teddy Bridgewater. Don't think that's not in the back of his mind. As much as you think that, he doesn't pay attention to that, hey, man, you like Dion said with that other coach, you talk shit about me. You told me I wasn't going to be worth nothing. You wanted to bring Brady in and get rid of me. You said Teddy Bridgewater was going to replace. I'm glad you brought this up. You don't think Tua's got that in the back of his mind? You don't think Mike McDaniel has that in the back of his mind? This might be the week for an epic beatdown. Sean Payton talked too much shit for too long, got the draft pick taken away, you didn't get Brady, and now you're coming into the Hard Rock in South Florida with an 0-2 team. If there was a game that was set up to be an ass whooping, it would be this game. I mean, just think about it to yourself as you hear the thunder. With everything, I'm not sure if you guys knew that. I mean, you knew about the Brady thing, but you know Sean Payton was wrapped up in all of that. So Sean Payton, Brady coming in, let's get rid of Tua. He's a bum. We don't want him. And then furthering that and say, hey, by the 5th game of the season, Teddy Bridgewater's going to take him over. Oh, now I got to face him with a crap team. If there was ever a setup for a blowout, it's this game. This game right here. So how bad are we going to be? I hope Tua, this is one of those games where I just hope Tua just balls out and takes this guy behind a woodshed and just says, I'm the guy you said was shit. Let me show you. Let me show you myself. Now understand, my last point here, as you guys know, Jalen Waddle is in the concussion protocol. Don't know if he had a concussion. Don't know if he's just going through the protocol. Don't know if Mike McDaniel will feel so much pressure not to keep him off, keep him out of the game. But I gotta wonder if he's gonna have Waddle this weekend. So if he doesn't have if he has Waddle, you already know. But if he doesn't have Waddle, that means that Berrios, I believe, is next man up, just like he was in this game. But instead of being a 3, he'll now be the 2. So it'd be interesting to see what happens if Waddle isn't able to play, what they elevate Berrios to, and what kind of plays are they going to run. I think if they bring Berrios up and he's the number 2 guy, they're fine. They're still going to be fine. I mean, he's not as fast as Waddle, but he's still going to be fine. So I just think, guys, I just think this game, I don't do predictions, but I think this game could be set up for an epic beatdown. It's basically on the table. It's got all the ingredients and recipes and side orders that you want to see on a Thanksgiving table. It's got all the drama. It's got all the motivation. The players won't say it. You're not going to hear, I mean, you may see a reporter ask, and then you're going to see Tua shrug, and you're going to see Mike McDaniel shrug, no big deal. There's no friggin' way, none, no friggin' way that Tua hasn't heard. I mean, he was in the middle of it. This whole thing with the Brady thing, he was right there. He had to know what was going on. He had to know that Sean Payton said, hey, this guy's shit, and we need a new quarterback. So we're going to bring Brady in. We're going to put this guy out to pasture. We're going to do this, do that. And then even after that fell through, he does more interviews and says Teddy Bridgewater's even better than him. You don't think Tua knows that? You don't think Tyreek Hill knows that? You don't think Mike McDaniel knows that? I want to see it. I'm hoping that this game turns into, like I said, I don't do predictions, but if I were to guess, if I were a betting man, at home, first game at home, all the drama that went through the last couple of years, I think it's a prove-it game where I think they look to smack down the Broncos as hard as possible. Bradley Chubb knows the Denver Broncos. Butch Barry knows the Denver Broncos. Vic Fangio knows the Denver Broncos. All the pieces. This is like the perfect storm for an ass whooping. I mean, just think about all the different things, all the stuff I mentioned to you with Sean Payton. Now, couple that with Bradley Chubb knows his team, Butch Barry knows his team. Think about the shit they said about Butch Barry. How bad the players talked about Butch Barry and how he sucked. I forgot all about that. That's a whole nother thing. So you're saying Tua sucks, Bush Berry sucks, and Fangio, he knows Denver. This could get ugly. And I just hope it does. I hope it just turns into one of those games. Well, thank you for coming in on another Tua Tuesday. Don't forget to hit the like button.
Come on, show some love and click that like button.
And then I'll be broadcasting live on Sunday, and I've got some really good prizes again. Some more Buffalo Wild Wings certificates to give out. And then if you're at all interested in the Colorado Buffaloes, I'm going to be broadcasting live that game against the Oregon Ducks. I believe it's a 3:15 game. But anyway, thanks, guys, for tuning in.